Hey everybody, I am Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind. If you are here, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. This is the first edition of After Sunset Sundays. So we are starting this new series as kind of just a hangout and chat and sew and whatever time. So I do see that we've already got Mitzi has joined the chat. She says hello. Hello Mitzi, glad you are here. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I am going to be working on putting some scraps together. I needed a break from everything else I've got going on and everything else that I've been working on. So that's what I'm going to be working on tonight. If you are working on a project, let me know what you're working on. I am going to be able to watch the chat and see what's going on. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are here, or you're here, and anybody else who shows up, if you're watching this on replay, glad you're here. So I do apologize, my dog is hanging out and chewing on a bone, so you guys might hear a little background noise. That's what happens when you start a new series. Everything kind of shifts and changes and moves and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get you over to so you can see the machine as well. So I'm actually working on a different machine today. Let me see if I can zoom out or if I've got this set. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so this is, Mitzi says, hanging with the family right now. That's perfect. That's awesome. So I don't know how much you can see in the camera, but this faceplate and all of that, this is Ricky. This is my Ricky Tim's edition for Nina. I've even got his autograph down here in this little section right here. We are sewing on Ricky today. That is what we are doing. I don't even have a foot on Ricky right now. Today has been that kind of day. I just needed a break from everything else that I've had going on lately, and the other projects that I'm working on, I need a break from them too. So, I don't know if you remember, I was working on the Star Systems quilt by Elizabeth Hartman a while back. I can't even use my mouse pad on this machine. Alright, so I was working on the Elizabeth Hartman Star Systems quilt and got it done. It's sitting up on top of my shelves. It needs to be quilted, but it is pieced. And if you guys are hearing my dog, let me know. I can try to get his bone away from him. He's just it has been that kind of day for him too. Just needs the break, needs the time down. Actually, let me grab it. Come here. Bring it. What do I have? Do you want it? Do you want what I have? Nope, bring me your bone. Bring here. Thank you. Good job. Come here. Come say hi. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That can be intensive. Yes, it can. I had my hearing that I had to go to for the government. Gotta love the government. Government rocks, you know? We just love the government. So I had my government hearing Wednesday, that trip to Salt Lake City. All the travel is one thing, and then all the quilt shop visits and just everything. I am about ready to be done. I'm just ready to be done. So what I've got left over from that quilt, from that Elizabeth Hartman, and no, I cannot turn my lights off, so I do apologize that, everything's going to be blinding when it gets up to the machine. I do not have a way to turn that light off. So I've got these half square triangle units. These are not sewn together. These were trimmed from the large stars, the large Star System stars, or the corners. This one was a corner unit because it's got this seam in here on the white. So I've got that. And then I've got all these little itty bitty ones. And I trimmed some of them, but I haven't trimmed all of them. and these are like an inch and a quarter, so they're really tiny. I was working on a charity quilt and had to take out a third of the blocks. Oh, I feel for you. Oh my goodness, I feel for you. How did the hearing come out? I won't know for about a month. They told me that they have a month to make a decision. So I don't know. I'm assuming that I will know something before July, but beyond that, I don't know. They would not give me any kind of clue. Oh goodness, hang on. All right, there we go. had to get I've used a different screen for my chat today, and it's messing with me. All right, Maritza is here. Hi, Maritza. Glad you are here. Thank you for joining the chat. So yeah, once I know something, I'll be able to say what I know and see whether or not I gotta do things again or if we're good. You know, I've actually got my knee lift. I don't know which one goes to this machine, but I got a couple of them. So we're gonna see. All right, that one I really have to push. Let's see if the other one is. The weight is sometimes the hardest. Yeah, it is, because, I mean, at this point, I can't do anything but weight. So, I mean, it will be what it will be when it will be. I thought I had my other knee lift, the other one that I just put on the other machine, but I think I set it over there with Beauty. I've got her set up to do embroidery. I got some quilt labels embroidered earlier today, so those are embroidered. And my dog has now found some squeaky toys, so we may be taking some squeaky toys away too. So just be patient with me, you guys. But if he is ever loud enough that it is distracting, just let me know. Please, please, please let me know. And then if you're watching this on the replay, if the people in the live chat didn't let me know, I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Alright, we are going to push this up. There we go. Now, the one good thing that I love, and I love this table that I've got, is that this is a different insert from the one that I've been using. The one that I've been using fits my other machine. And then I've got this one that fits this machine, and then I've got little platforms that accommodate the height of this machine differently, because the other one is a lot taller. So I've got it set for the other machine, but if you can see where my finger's moving down here, that's my machine. That's under my machine bed. That's like where the arm is. And then underneath here, if you can see that little purple piece, that is one of those supports. Let's see, so they gave up on quilting for the day after I finally got all the blocks straightened out. I do not blame you. When I was working on Star Systems, I regularly took big breaks because I was just done. I hit the limit of what I could handle, and I just decided I was done. So I've been working on Super Secret Quilt a lot too. So I will be working on that some more tomorrow night and again on Wednesday. And I've kind of got some deadlines now for Super Secret, so I need to get it done. And I'm a little overwhelmed still. I have not come down from being overwhelmed. It will be what it will be, and it's all that it can be. But yeah, I have needed some sewing time that is not linked to anything else. I've got some quilt kits, some block kits from my trip. So all the Wyoming State Quilt Shop Hop, or Wyoming Quilt Shop Hop, however it's said. I apologize. Whichever way it is, the shop hop thing for all the Wyoming State Quilt Shop Hop, or Wyoming State Quilt Shops. I picked up, so I've been to 4 stores so far, and I have picked up a total of 7 blocks, because I picked up some previous years for 2 of the shops. One shop had 2 years, and then one shop had just the 1 year back. That actually were kits. I could have picked up the patterns too, and I thought I was, but I didn't end up with it, but it's okay. I mainly want the ones that actually have fabric with them, and I'm going to put them all together. Nancy is here. She says, guess who, Nancy? Hi, y'all. Hi, Nancy. Katie is here. Hi, Tammy. Thank you, Katie. Glad you're here. And you guys, if you guys have channels, I do have Nightbot on, so you guys can do the exclamation selfie thing. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I'm just glad to be here and to have some sewing time. This has been a much needed break. So what I'm going to do, because I have all of these half square triangle things left over from... Laura is here too. She says, hi, Tammy and everyone. I just need some sewing time, and so this is kind of a perfect transition to just mindless sewing. I don't have to think about anything. This is going to turn into a quilt. I do not know what it's going to look like yet. I have no idea. These border ones, let me show you on the next one because this is already into the machine. These ones that came from the borders, if you see this white that's got the seam in it, it's not like level the whole way. So my half square triangles for these will come out smaller than some of these others. So I don't know what size they're going to be trimmed to. Mitzi says, that's why I started the charity quilt, something not for anyone. Yeah, I have a couple of projects that are like that. And I guess I could have sewn on some angel gowns tonight. That would have been appropriate too. I work with an organization and I make angel gowns. And I've got a lot that were cut by one of my quilt groups. They cut on May 1st as part of their charity for the year. And guys, I came out with 42 gowns cut. So I've got a lot of gowns to assemble, and I just haven't yet because I've been doing so many other things. But I think after this week, my life will settle back down and we'll get back into routine, and we'll be able to do a lot of stuff going forward. Let's see. I've got Arlie has said hi. Well, welcome, Arlie. Glad you are here. I think that's the first time I've seen you in my chat, so welcome. Glad you could make it. Katie says, y'all smash that thumbs up, like button to help Tammy out. And Katie, I will go one step further. You guys can hit thumbs up. You can hit thumbs down. YouTube counts it the same way, and I will too. If you guys are interacting with my channel, it is interaction. I will not be upset if you thumbs down. Now, if you do thumbs down, I do want you to comment and tell me why you thumbs down. If it was just for, just for giggles, that's fine. I just want to know. I just want to know. I am not picky. I am at about 70% of the way towards having my subscribers and my watch hours to the point where I could be monetized. And that's kind of a goal. I'm not sure what I want to do with my channel once I could become monetized. I'm not sure that I'm going to, set any goals past there, but it's kind of a goal to reach that point. So I'm getting there slowly. And Charlotte is here. She says, hi, Tammy and everyone. Hello, Charlotte. I think I missed saying hi. I did see your name in the chat, and I don't know where my brain is. It's probably sleeping, even though I am not at all sleepy, but my brain probably is. I have just been through it the last probably 2 weeks, but solidly for the last week. Thanks, Katie, for the reminder. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Thanks, Katie. All right, so I've got those white ones that have the seams in them, but I also have some, and this doesn't show up really well. Oh, there we go. That shows up. So it's got gray and black, but that half square triangle is going to make it in here as well. So I don't know how much of that black on this one will show up after all is said and done, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. We will use the design wall once we're to a point where we can start putting things on it. All the little bitty ones are already sewn and pressed with their seams open. So like all the 1 1/4 inch ones, I mean, these are tiny, you guys. They're so tiny. It's hard for me to even hang on to them. So all of these, I'll go trim the dog ears off and get them all to the same size before I do anything else with them. But they're already sewn and pressed with their seams open. So they just need trimming. All these big ones, I did not bother sewing this extra seam when I was putting the quilt together. So that's why I have a big stack of all of these half square triangles to just sew together. So, I mean, I'm thinking that this will make a throw size quilt when it's all said and done, but I do still have little bitty scrap pieces from when I did the cutting to make this. So that is in a whole nother bin. It's not in this bin. It's got its own bin. So I will have the scraps left over from that. And so I think I can make some cool designs. I just don't know what I've got, what kind of designs I want to make yet. So, you know, we're going to put these together. And then I still have squares left over too. These are like 5 1/2 inch squares, you guys. Or, well, except for some of these. But the vast majority of these are like 5 1/2 inch squares. So I've got fabric to make a quilt with. Everybody saying hi to each other. Glad you all are here. Thank you guys for showing up to support me tonight. I appreciate it more than I can tell, more than I can say. You know, even if I don't have a whole lot of people, that's fine with me. Just that somebody's hanging out with me sounds cool to me. And if you guys are sewing on something, put it in the chat what you guys are sewing on, what you guys are working on tonight. I mean, obviously I'm working on what is basically a scrap quilt that I have no idea what it's going to become yet. So what I was saying earlier about the Wyoming State Quilt Shop Hop is, so I picked up 7 blocks out of 4 stores that I went to. Again, 2 extra blocks from one store and 1 extra block from one that are kits. So I have, 7, right now I have 7 blocks to put together. And there's no time limit on when they expect you to have them done, or, it's not like row by row where you put your rows together, make the quilt, and then you show up with it. And it's a finished piece to get your rewards or whatever. There's nothing like that here. So it's whenever I get around to it. But I do kind of want to get it done this year. The shop hop ends at the end of August. So I'll have September, October, November, December to get it done. And it'll still be in 2024. But a lot of them so far have applique. And I'm really not in the mood to do applique today. Get in here, sir. Get in here. Come on. You want this? Get in here. Come on. Let me see. I'll trade. Nope. No. Bring it. Okay. Not trading because you were stealing things you weren't supposed to have. Let me close the door and keep him in here, you guys. Hang on. Excuse you, sir. He was stealing a ponytail holder. He loves to get these because it has the ones that I've got right now. I don't know where I got these or how long I've had them, but it's got a little plastic ball on it. So he likes to get a hold of that, and then he'll have that in his mouth, pull it with his paw, and pop himself. And I don't know why he likes to do that, but he does. Let's see. Charlotte said I got my pieces cut for cut and chiseled, but now I have to sew them on another machine. I've got to repair my favorite machine. Oh no! Maybe later tonight I'll get back to sewing half square triangles. There you go. And Kelly has joined the chat. Thank you for being back tonight, Kelly. I appreciate it. Laura says, I've got a quilt laid out that I have to finish up, but I can't seem to get focused enough to finish it up. This last week has been rough. I'm hoping next week will be better. That is exactly what I am hoping for. We are hoping that this upcoming week is going to be better than last week. Arlie says, piecing and disappearing 9 patch, first time I've done one. Oh, that's exciting, Arlie. It is always exciting when you're working on a project that you've never done before. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Kelly says, got some yard work done and housework done today. Just relaxing now. I do not blame you. My chore at the house is laundry. I do not do dishes. I do not do cooking. I do laundry. So I got some laundry done today, and it's not that hard. It's not that difficult, but I still feel so accomplished when I can say I am done. Would you settle, please, sir? Would you settle? Thank you. I apologize, you guys, if I'm talking to my dog too much. Now you know what it is like when he is not used to me being on live and he thinks that I'm just hanging out talking on the phone to somebody. Has anyone made lap quilts for nursing home residents? If so, what size is good? The quilts that I have made for nursing home residents, it depends on the nursing home. So you may want to contact the nursing home and see what kind of size they're looking for. If you Google wheelchair quilt, that is probably about the size that they're looking for. They're looking for something that'll cover the lap and go down to the feet, but not drag on the floor and become a hazard. Jacqueline, I don't believe I've seen you in the chat for a while, if I've seen you in the chat. I've seen your name before, but welcome in. Thank you. She says, hello from Oklahoma. I finished 2 quilts this last week. They were both Thomas and Friends. Oh, that's where I've seen you. Thank you. One was from Layer Cakes and the other was from Jelly Rolls for my great-grandsons. I saw that. Those are fantastic, or that quilt is fantastic. I love it. You are going to be on Sew and Tell on Tuesday, so make sure you are there if you like. You'll be able to see your quilt shown out to everyone. And you guys, if you are not part of the Facebook group and you want to be part of the Facebook group, just put exclamation group in the chat. Only live chat can do that, but put exclamation mark group in the chat and you will get a link to the Facebook group, and I'll get you put in, relatively quickly. And that is where most everyone is sharing their Sew and Tell projects. The ones that aren't on Facebook, if you need to email me, do exclamation email, and that will give you my email address, and you can email that to me. Just put in the subject line Sew and Tell. That way I know what you're sharing. And tell me, whether you put it on Facebook or you put it in an email to me, just make sure you tell me a little bit about it so I know kind of what we're looking at, or how important this is to you, because I love to be able to share those stories. It makes it so much more real. Mitzi posted, that's okay, I did remember seeing that, the graduation quilt. That is awesome. Let's see, Mitzi says, I like disappearing 9 patches is one of my favorites. I once made 5 for Christmas for nephews who didn't have one. Yes, I made disappearing 9 patches for Quilts of Valor for members of my family, and that's not what my super secret project is right now. It's not a disappearing 9 patch. There you go, Nancy. Awesome. So I love disappearing 9 patches because they are so unique. They look so difficult, but they're not as difficult as they look, and it's really kind of cool to see them coming together. Let's see, Jacqueline says, I keep missing your lives, but do watch the replays. No worries, Jacqueline. I kind of figured that's what it was. And Charlotte agrees early that those disappearing 9 patches are a lot of fun. All right, Nancy, I see your request. Let me go put you in. Do you get the notifications while I am live? And that saves a lot of hassle. There we go. All right, you are in the group. There we go. So now you can browse and listen. So yeah, I like to be able to share those on the Tuesday night lives. Now this month is going to start our later Tuesday night lives. We're not going to go live as early. So that's why I've got my little board back here. I'll go ahead and turn her on. This was my Mother's Day present, and absolutely love her. But Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I couldn't put the Mountain Standard Time on there, but I could put everything else. So we are live Tuesday nights at 6 now instead of at 5. So we're an hour later. There we go. We got another. Kelly is asking to join. Let me go get you in there. All right. Well, where is my member requests? They are here somewhere. All right. Hang on. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. There we go. Facebook is just giving me a little bit of grief. There you go. You are in, Kelly. Thank you. All right, Missy says, Jacqueline, that's awesome that you finished those quilts. Yes, it is. I agree. And it's so rewarding when you finish something because then you feel so accomplished. You really do. I got busy today, so I moved Beauty. The reason why we're sewing on Ricky today. Jean says, you were FaceTiming with your mother. No worries. You are welcome to be late if you were FaceTiming with your mom. I would want my kids to do the same. So welcome. Glad you're here tonight. Later this week I'll be flying to Oregon, so I'm not too sure if I'll be able to watch or not. No worries, Jacqueline. There's always replay. I do not take my lives down, so you'll be able to watch it on the replay. Not a problem. And so one thing that we're doing with Sew and Tell, and you don't have to be present to participate every week. That's why I've set up the Facebook group so people can share in the Facebook group. And that's why I have my email so that you guys can share via email if you are not comfortable being on Facebook, because I don't want anybody to feel cut out for any reason. But what we're doing is in October, there will be a big giveaway of something very special to one lucky winner who has participated in the Sew and Tells for the last 6 months. So October will be the last one for this 6 months, and then in November we'll start up again. And then 6 months from November we will have another giveaway, and it will be for that group of 6 months of Sew and Tells. So you don't have to contribute anything in particular, just contributing and participating. That is what you get entered for. And the entries we're going to do, so let's say somebody enters 20 times. They've got 20 different projects or pictures or whatever that they've entered. If that's the most entries that anybody does, I apologize, you guys. He just came and laid underneath my tripod. The joys of having a clingy dog today. So let's say somebody enters 20 times. Everybody gets 20 entries. So if you only enter once, but somebody else enters 20 times, you get 20 entries just like the person who entered 20 times. And you do not have to be present on the live stream to win the Sew and Tell giveaway. And that's kind of why I do the Facebook and the email as the ways to enter the Sew and Tell giveaways, because then I have one way or another to contact you. I don't want people entering and not being able to be contacted if they win, so that's why we're doing it that way. And he is finally settling. Jean saying hi to Charlotte. Alright. I do not know how many of these I've got, you guys. I never went back and counted. I intended to, but I never did. So I'm going to bring this over. Well, no, I really can't. I was going to say I was going to bring this over and show you guys this bin, but it's really kind of hard for me to do that. But, alright, here's a stack. Here's a stack. Small stack. Here's a big stack. Here's another stack. And, oh, these are mostly backgrounds. Oh, backgrounds and grays. Okay, so they're combined together. And then I've got some random ones in here. There's some more squares that I just found. And I'm dropping the little ones mostly. The little ones don't like to hang around. All right, there's some more. Let's see if I can get these pulled out. And we will see just how big of a stack we're talking. And I'm not changing to black thread. No worries, Jean. I don't expect anyone to learn anyone else's names. I do that because it is it's brain game for me. It helps with some of my fog, my brain fog, just words are somewhere. It helps with some of my brain fog challenges that I have. So that's why I try to learn people's real names. I'm just making a scrapbook. Yep. Yep, that is all I am doing at this point. So this is the only block that did not go into that original quilt. This is the only block out of Star Systems. When I did it duplicated, I did not duplicate the center block. So this is like a 20-inch square block, something like that. And I'll probably have to put triangles. I'll leave out a couple background triangles to do the corners with, because they're not square. Like, I've got extra, but I need it for seam allowance, so I'm gonna just snowball this corner here. And so I've got all these large half square triangle units. You try to remember real names and feel bad when you don't ever feel bad. So I have a disadvantage where I cannot remember faces. If I see a picture of somebody, I might recognize that exact picture again, but if I see that same person in another picture, 9 times out of 10, unless I have a contextual key to place that person, I have no chance of knowing who the heck they are. So, you know, my name thing and names and numbers, I'm really good with names and numbers, but that's all I'm good at. So I've got some of these size. So here's the big ones, and then here's the next size down, and then I have a lot. Well, that one's hard to see. Let me get one that's easier to see. I've got a lot of these little bitty ones. So I'm just trying to put these big ones together so that I can get them going. Sorry, dog is getting picked up. All right, let's see. Mitzi says, my guild does wheelchair quilts. They recommend size of 36 by 46. Thank you, Mitzi. That's good help. And that's probably what they'll tell you, Kelly, is probably that 36 by 46. That sounds like a really good size for a wheelchair quilt. So the nursing home probably does want them to be about that size. So I have one random little half square piece that is not attached to anything, and it's little bitty. So I don't know. I have no idea if there's a white little bitty to go with it somewhere, but 9 times out of 10, all the rest of them are all in here. So this is my container that they're all in, and this is literally the mess of all of these. And so I'm putting these bigger ones together to be able to make something out of all that without having just all these little bitty ones. So that's the goal. Let's see. Mitzi says, okay. Please don't worry about remembering names. Here it can be hard. Yes, absolutely. So you guys, when my dog got picked up, he walked across my foot pedal as he was leaving. Can't take that dog anywhere. He's my service dog. Can't take him anywhere. Yeah, I just definitely needed some sewing and relaxation time. Is definitely worth it. But okay, so I have all those, and then I have all my squares too. So I mean, this may end up being like a twin size quilt or larger. Just depends by the time all the seam allowances come out. Oh, I locked it. Sorry. I am trying to drink something other than Dr. Pepper. So you guys should be proud of me. It's not water, but it is not caffeinated either. So I am trying. I'm trying. I cannot do water unless it is ice cold. So here's a question for you guys. If you guys like to drink water, do you guys like it room temperature? Do you like it ice cold? Do you like it with like lemon or some other flavor added? Do you like to do like the drops or something like that? How do you take your water? How do you drink your water? If you drink it. If you drink water. I was not a water drinker for a really long time. and I will drink water, but it has to be ice cold, and it's really hard to keep it ice cold. And I kind of need a little bit of flavor, so like lemon or something like that. Jean says cold. Laura says she's crocheting while watching. That's a perfect time to crochet, Laura. I do not mind a bit. Arlie says ice cold, and so does Kelly. I have to have ice, yeah. So our refrigerator and our freezer at our last house had an in freezer water and ice dispenser, and there it was a little bit easier for me to drink water because I could absolutely add ice whenever I wanted. Here we do not have an ice maker in the freezer, and so the only way for us to do ice is we have we can either do the little ice trays and put them in the freezer and then pull them out and like pop them, and it's a lot of work. I don't like a lot of work. This is too much work. And then Charlotte's saying she likes hers tap water. We do have a countertop ice machine, but I feel like that's wasting a lot of energy just to have ice, and then the ice melts really quickly, and I don't know. I haven't gotten into the habit of using it like I should. So it's really hard for me to get it to ice cold, so I have to put mine in the fridge and pour it from a bottle from the fridge into my thing. So I'm actually drinking Powerade Zero right now. Don is here. He says, hello everyone. Welcome in, Don. Glad you could make it. Mitzi says, I have a new vintage travel machine I was trying out. I realized it has a very sensitive foot. My machine took off and I had a very crazy seam. I was so glad that there was nothing under the machine when he did that. Like, I was not expecting him to walk on my foot pedal. So you guys probably saw the look of surprise on my face when he did it. Oh, let's see. Rayanne says, I like my water straight and cool, but not iced. See, I have to have it ice cold. Otherwise, to me, I taste anything that's in it. Like, if they add chemicals to make it taste better or something, I can taste them. And when it's ice cold, I don't think I taste it as much. Maybe that's my deal. But welcome into the chat, Rayanne. Glad you're here. Everybody's saying hi to Don. Charlotte says, Mitzi, I hate it when... yeah, I hate it when it happens too. I'll drink some bottled water, room temp. Tap water needs to be cold. Oh, yeah. I am not a tap water person. So, my reservations is, when I was growing up, where I lived, the tap water had an aftertaste to it, and I'm not sure. Be right back. Have to feed the dog. No worries, Jean. No worries. My tap water had like an aftertaste to it, and I'm not sure if it was the fluoride that they add to the city water or what the deal was, but I could definitely taste like an aftertaste to water, and that just kind of turned me off of it. So I've been so cautious, and I could do filtered water, but at that point, I still have to have it really cold, and it's just so hard to keep it cold enough. And I don't like drinking it through a straw, but if I drink it through a bottle and I can smell like chemicals in it, or smell whatever they've added to it, or when water has that smell or whatever. If you guys don't know what the smell is, then consider yourselves lucky. But there are times that I can smell the water and just, can't do it. So like when I'm at restaurants, I add lemon. I kind of cringe about it because I worry about, where that lemon has been. Did they wash their hands before they touched it? I worry about that kind of stuff too. But like if I get water at a restaurant or whatever, I definitely have to have lemon. Otherwise, it's just weird. It's just very weird. Charlotte says, I grew up in New Orleans. Drinking tap water taste is not a big issue for me. You are so very lucky. So very lucky. I am so proud. So glad for you. I wish I could say the same. So I'm not drinking water. I am drinking Powerade. But I'm drinking Powerade Zero. I can't do the amount of sugar that they put in to a lot of those sports drinks or whatever. And Powerade was one of the few that It doesn't always leave an aftertaste. Some flavors do, but what I'm drinking right now is not doing the aftertaste deal. Charlotte, Mitzi's laughing at Charlotte. Yeah, taste is not the big issue. Oh, just having clean, fresh drinking water sometimes in New Orleans post-hurricane is the issue. Oh, been there, kind of, done that very much, but not in Louisiana. I can hardly taste much anymore. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. I had a friend laughing at me because I went to a restaurant with them and I ordered something that I didn't think was going to be spicy. And to me, it was super spicy. Like, I mean, just off the chart spicy. And then I realized it's just like the sausage that was in it was spicy. But it really wasn't as spicy as I thought it was. Like, it really wasn't. And especially, like, eating the leftovers for it. It wasn't spicy at all. But I was getting laughed at for, here I am. This is spicy. This is really spicy. And it really wasn't. I think I put this on the right way. I don't think it's going to matter. This fabric is this gray that I'm sewing on right now. And I know you guys can't see it. I'm sorry. I can't do anything about these lights. This machine does not have an adjustment for the lights. Alright, so Charlotte, if you can't taste much anymore, I am dying to know, inquiring minds want to know, what is your favorite food? If you can taste it, what is your favorite food? And that's how I'll phrase this, is if you can taste it, what is your favorite food? I do not have a favorite food at all. So, it's kind of hard for me. I will tell you this, though. That's funny. Dave's ultimate insanity hot sauce broke me. Oh, so it was funny. The last year before we moved up here, last Christmas before we moved up here, we had my stepdaughter for Christmas, and my mom and dad came over, and they really love her. They really love my stepdaughter, and they're kind of close. They don't talk to her like off the holiday time or whatever, but they absolutely adore her. And one of the presents that we gave to my stepdaughter, I think it was my husband and I gave it to her. I can almost swear it was me and my husband. One of the things that we gave her was this hot sauce calendar kind of thing that was a spin the bottle kind of hot sauce thing. And, we knew she wasn't going to be playing it with spin the bottle style. But her and my mom, they both sat down in the floor, and both of them like spicy foods. So the two of them were going round for tasting all the hot sauces. And there's one that neither one of them liked. I don't know what the flavor was, but neither one of them liked it. And some of them, it would hit you immediately that it was hot, and then it would wear off after a few seconds or so. And, so they were both going rounds and rounds. So, my stepdaughter would taste one, and then my mom would taste it. My mom's like, oh, that's not bad. And then my stepdaughter would taste one, oh, that's not bad. And then my mom would get it and go, oh my goodness. It was funny watching the two of them do that. I am not in the hot sauce category. I went to one of these. I've never used to eat spicy foods, but as I've gotten older, I like foods much spicier now. Yeah, I used to never do salt and pepper on my foods. I never touched the salt and pepper, aside from if a recipe told me to add salt and pepper. It had to tell me how much salt and pepper to add, but I wouldn't. I never added salt and pepper, but now I do. I've gotten in the habit of using it now. So stepdaughter, she loves hot sauce, right? They have these hot sauce shops, and I'd never known of them or anything. Didn't know that she had one back home and all of that. So she and I are trying to kill some time, and I take her to this hot sauce shop. And she's like, oh, I've already been here before. It's like, not with me. And she's like, oh, that's right. Well, just not with you. And she wanted to do the ghost pepper something or other. Like, I mean, there's like some kind of hot sauce challenge or something, but she wasn't old enough. They wouldn't let her do it until she's 16. Charlotte says, I did something similar with my stepdad as a teen, a jalapeno eating contest. It was funny. I could not even do that. They asked me if I want jalapenos on my nachos at the ballpark, and no, I do not. I am good. I don't even get the green sauce at the Mexican restaurants because it's a little too spicy for me. Sometimes the regular salsa is too spicy. And I'm not a bland person. Like, I like some foods, but I am the very not spicy person. I like flavor, but I don't like spice. Yeah, I agree, Charlotte. Ow. Yeah, thankfully she couldn't do it because she wasn't old enough. And she wanted me, so you can do it if your parents sign a waiver. But I'm step parent, and as much as, neither of her parents would give me grief, I wasn't going to sign off on her doing it because I didn't want to be responsible if she did not do well. That was not going to be on me. That was going to be on somebody with legal obligation responsibility to do that. I can't do hot after days. That's funny, Charlotte. It killed your spice, huh? Killed your spice. Yeah. I have to laugh. You guys in Louisiana eat some weird stuff. I'll just say that. You guys eat some weird stuff. I do not go on food tours in New Orleans. When I went to New Orleans, there was no food tours. I was not doing food tours. Good choice. I'm not signing off. Exactly. I could not bring myself to explain to her mom and her dad, yeah, I let her do this. I did not want to find out what was going to happen if they were finding out because of, something that I shouldn't have done. I mean, I'm sure that they would have signed off for her to do it, but I would have rather one or the other of them been present. I love alligator and turtle. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. You guys will cook and fry and steam and boil pretty much anything if it moves. And I am not... There's a lot that I will eat. There is a lot. But my discernment is more than just, does it crawl or does it swim or does it move? Like, I have a little bit more discernment about what my meat choices are, my protein sources are. I'm just a little picky. I've actually never even been in the situation to eat alligator, I don't think. I've definitely not been in the situation to eat turtle. I think the last... I ate some kind of rainbow fish something or other. I think it was rainbow fish. Don't quote me on it. We had a gift card to go to a fish restaurant, a seafood restaurant. And bless their hearts, my husband and my stepdaughter both ordered hamburgers. And here I am ordering some fish I've never heard of. I basically told the waitress, I'm like, okay, these are the fish that I've normally eaten. I want to try something new. What do you think off of this menu I would probably like that is any kind of similarity to what I've already eaten? So she helped me choose something to order. Sometimes the waiters and waitresses are your best friends. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they are dying to see what a customer will have a reaction to, but I usually get lucky. Amen to that. I don't eat 3 things: caviar, internal organs, or insects. I haven't been that hungry yet. There you go. See, I've never been that hungry yet either. Those are my I'm not that hungry yet list. But you probably said it more succinctly than I have. Oh. Oh my goodness. You guys have got me cracking up. Got me cracking up. Oh. So, should we start taking votes on how big you guys think this quilt is going to be? Like, do you think this is going to be a throw? Do you think this is going to be like a twin or a queen, even? Like, how big do you think this is going to be? Because I think it's going to be bigger than a wall hang because I've got all those squares to go with it, too. And I'm going to use everything that is in this container. If I can't use it on the front, because it's that little bit left, it will be used on the quilt label. It is going to be used somewhere. And I might put, something of this towards a quilt label for the Star Systems quilt. So once it's quilted, I'll already have part of the label done. But, I mean, I don't know how big this is going to be, you guys. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know how big these half square triangles are going to finish out at either. No idea. Charlotte says, I'm guessing throw to twin. Okay. So we got a couple votes in. Throw to twin size. All right. I just don't know. All these little bitty pieces. And I mean, they're 1.25 inch. So they will finish at 3/4 of an inch. So the littlest ones don't go very big. Don't go very big at all. These will go probably the largest of anything, other than the squares by themselves. And I'm not turning those squares into half square triangles. So before you ask, that is not happening. Let's see. I got a friend messaging me. She has been wanting me to make a bag, I'm thinking. She is capable of making the bag. And she's asking me to make it. And I do not have time right now. So I will message her back and a little bit later and let her know that her project would not be started until probably November. Bitty put together grows. Yes, it does. Especially with as many of them as there are. I mean, there are a lot of them. So each of the star system blocks has 8 of the small stars. So these small ones came off of the small stars when I made the flying geese. So there's 8 of those per star systems, per small star, and there's 8 of those per star systems block. So there's 64 of these for each of the star systems blocks, or there should be 64 of them. With that being said, I made 18 total. So 18 times 64. If somebody wants to do the math, they are welcome to do that. I have not done the math on that. I'm curious, but I have not done it yet. So whatever 18 times 64, that's going to be what my small half square triangles is going to be. Charlotte says, I'm glad you said no. Your time matters. Yeah, I mean, even if I do say yes to making it, and it wouldn't be hard to make. What she's wanting would not be hard to make, but I have way too much on my plate to take on any other commissions. I have a commission already that, holy shnikes. Charlotte, you're cracking me up. My commission that I've got is going to get started at the end of June at the latest. So that way I can have it done before the Christmas season. I want to have that commission done for my client before Christmas. I'd like it to be done before Christmas. And it's kind of a unique size. So I'm looking forward to doing it. But I've got to finish getting all the measurements and all that. So it's on me right now. My delay is the client's delay at the moment. So it's not the client, it's me. It's me. It's me again, Margaret. Do you guys have problems? Okay, I'm going to ask a weird question. Okay, can you see the don't worry about the wrinkles. Can you see the polka dots? I think it shows up. The polka dots. If you guys were to look at that while you're working with it, does it give you like any kind of visual problems? Like, is it hard for you guys to look at something like that? Or, you know, if it's like super tiny stripes and plaids? Do you guys have problems looking at those? I do. And I still work with them anyway. I just don't make my whole project nothing but them. I can handle them on small scales now. But I can't work on them on that kind of thing. Charlotte says, don't blame me there. Yeah. I mean, if she were paying, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. She's a sweetheart and love her to death. She's a great friend. But in order to expedite her order, I would have to charge her an insane amount, and I can't charge her that. Mitzi says sometimes. Arlie says sometimes. Charlotte says, yes, ma'am. Those are hard on my eyes. Yeah. I can't look at them. I mean, I can look at them for a minute or so, but I can't stare at them. And I think I even bought some fabric recently, and I don't know where I put it. But I bought some fabric recently that after I started looking at it for a minute, I was struggling. Mitzi says, especially the tiny stripes. Oh my goodness, yes. The tinier they are, the harder they are. I learned my first experience trying to work with a fabric that had super tiny stripes. I was making chair back covers for my son's teacher. I think it was kindergarten or first grade. I can't remember which one. But she wanted these chair back covers, and the fabric she gave me, she had some red, and she had some navy, and then she had something, and I don't remember if it was stripes or polka dots. I think it was polka dots. And you guys, I swear by the time I was done with that project, I was cross-eyed. Oh, I was cross-eyed. I mean, I couldn't. And I don't know how people do it. I have no idea how you would do it. Charlotte's saying, yes, Mitzi, especially the tiny stripes. Oh, gosh, I know I've got that fabric somewhere. Now, I can see on my shelf a tiny plaid. Oh my goodness, it's a little check plaid. It's black lines, straight up and down and horizontal, and the background is white. But they're all super tiny, like smaller than a quarter of an inch, I think. Oh my goodness. When I work with that fabric, I am going to be crying the entire time. I will eventually get it out of my stash. So I don't have it, so it's not there for me to look at. Charlotte. Little emojis, the spinning eye emojis. Yeah, I feel like that when I look at those kinds of fabrics. Thankfully, most of these are easier to look at. I mean, that polka dot wasn't that bad. If I looked at this one all the time, it would do the same thing to me. Trying to set off Nightbot. You won, Charlotte. Oh my goodness. The whole screen is full of Nightbot deleted this message. Message deleted by Nightbot. Oh, Charlotte. Time out, right? Time out. I guess that's what I get for talking about my son's, like, kindergarten and first grade years. You know, talking about the teacher. You had to find out what the steps are. You know, the green, yellow, and red steps for behavior. Oh, okay. This looks pink on camera, and it's kind of a lilac color. It's not really pink, but it's not really purple. It's like between the two. And I wanted to like make something to put on it to decorate it, so it's not just a solid color. But now I can't decide what I want to put on it, because if I put something that looks purple, it will look more like a pink bottle. And if I put something that's pink, it won't necessarily look more like a purple bottle. It's close to it. Giovanna isn't here, so I had to take over. You go, Charlotte. Yeah, she checked in earlier. She left a message earlier that she wasn't going to be able to hang out because it was like 4 a.m. her time. So, you know, it's early Monday morning where she's at. So, when it is that time here, I will be in bed, I think. Tuesday morning, I've got to get up early. Tuesday morning, I'm riding with a group of ladies to go to a quilt shop. And I'm super excited about it. I really am. But we're trying to get there when the quilt shop opens. And it's a couple hours drive. And I am thankfully the last on the pickup list. Like, everybody else gets picked up before me. So that is the one good thing about it, is I am not the first one to pick up, so I don't have to be up as early. I still have to be up early, but not as early. And I can wear comfy clothes. Oh, I can wear comfy clothes. I don't have to wear I'm not going to be super comfy. I'm not going to be, it's not going to be my Walmart clothes. It's going to be my Target clothes. I know, Charlotte, you're from the South. You're in the South. You will understand the difference between Walmart and Target clothes. There is a difference. I've got the grands at 6 tomorrow morning. Oh my goodness, Charlotte. Oh. Well, the good thing about having them is if you're not having to run them anywhere, there is ways to entertain them without exerting too much energy. That's what we're going to go with. Without too much energy. Oh. All right. And you guys, I've got yellow and orange in all of this. And it is such a challenge for me to work with yellow. But it is also a challenge for me to work with orange. So I'm getting that exposure in again about working with these. I think this is going to be my Sunday night project for a little bit, just so I can get it going and get it done. I mean, next week will probably be trimming, is what I'm thinking. Walmart clothes, 100% tomorrow. There you go. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There is a difference. Those people of Walmart, memes and Reddit threads or whatever you want to go with. Oh my goodness. I laugh sometimes at things that people think are appropriate to be in public in. Of course, I don't usually wear things that are not appropriate for public. I am a very modest person normally. Janet, morning. Welcome. Glad you could make it. Yeah, it is nighttime here, but morning there. So glad you are here, Janet. Thank you. And remind me again, if you don't mind, Janet, what part of Australia are you in? I'm trying to learn cities as I go, so remembering cities will help. Charlotte says certain colors give us grief. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do, Charlotte. I am not a yellow and orange kind of person. Oh, I ran out of bobbin thread. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I can hear when my machine runs out. So we are going to change out bobbin. And I do have to move this little acrylic to change out my bobbin, just because it sits low enough down that the door would hit it. And we are going to pull another bobbin that is just not very full, and we're going to pull a mostly full bobbin. And I don't care if these are the same threads, because this is a scrap quilt. 10:50 a.m. Western Australia. Okay, we can work with that. We can work with that. I am learning a little bit every now and then. I'm trying. I am very trying. But I'm glad you could make it. I'm glad this time frame is working well. Charlotte says, good grief, Janet, you're up early. 10:50 a.m. That's not bad. That's almost 11. You're going to be up way earlier than that tomorrow, Charlotte. Missy says, oh yes, I'm not a green person, essentially Kelly green. Yeah, no, I am not a green person either. Not any of my current stepchildren, but a previous stepchild, her favorite color was green. I can't get that back out. We're gonna run with it. We're gonna see. But her favorite color was green, and I was making her a quilt for graduating high school, and oh my goodness, how much did I cringe? That is not gonna work. Okay, so I did not get the bobbin right. We can figure it out. Let's see. Oh yeah, I clipped the bobbin thread in behind the bobbin. That was my bad. My fault. There we go, and heard the snap. On these Berninas, especially the 5.5 millimeter machines, if you do not clip that bobbin in, you can tell that you didn't do it, and you don't have to, futz with it a whole lot. It's just, is it in or is it not? Let's see. Good morning, happy Monday. Okay, so yeah, I was working, the Kelly Green, I was working on her quilt, and her favorite color is green, and she very much liked earth tones, so it was green and brown and gold. Guys, that was such a work of love, a labor of love, because those colors were just so hard on me. Charlotte says, absolutely, I'll be up later. And let's see. Janet says, I live in the southwest of WA. We have just had our second mini tornado in a month. Oh my goodness. And today's only June 2nd there. June 3rd there. Oh my gosh. You guys, that's like crazy weather. Charlotte says, so much of color matching is getting the undertones right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And like this green that I'm working with right now, I don't know how well you guys can see it. It is a lime. I hate this light, you guys. I cannot turn it off. It is a lime green. So just take my word for it. It is a lime green. And it is bright and bold and fantastic and obnoxious all at the same time. I mean, I like some good greens. Don't get me wrong. I like some good greens. But I am more of an olive green kind of person. If I choose a green, it's going to be an olive green or a forest green. It's winter there. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we're heading into the warm season. You're heading into the cold one. Yeah. I did not think about that, too. But that is still crazy weather. I mean, we get more tornadoes when it gets hot than we do when it gets cold, I think. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me. My brain. And Janet says it is winter here. How cold do your winters get, Janet? Charlotte wants to know. Inquiring minds want to know. That would be exciting to know. Because, I mean, here we had negatives somethings. I think it got to negative... Don, if you're in the chat, you can help me out. I don't remember how cold it got here in Casper. Mitzi says, wow, I never thought about tornadoes in Australia. It is the beginning of winter, yeah. I think it was like negative 10, maybe? Something like that. I think that's the coldest it got this past winter. I know the winter before this, it was even colder, but I wasn't here. I just moved to Wyoming in May of last year, so I have been here just over a year now. Yeah, I didn't think about tornadoes there either. Mitzi, you are not alone. I had not even thought about tornadoes in Australia. I mean, I guess here in the States, it's a lot easier to just forget that other parts of the world have some of the same weather pattern kind of problems that we do. You know, we associate tornadoes. We've got Tornado Alley, and then you can have tornadoes all across the country. But, you know, it's up to whoever and whenever. Oh, Rayanne may know. Oh, Dawn, there you go. Negative 20 or so last year. Yeah. I figured you knew more about what the weather hit down here in Wyoming, or up here in Wyoming than I would. I was just working on getting through it. Here it can only get down to about 10 degrees Celsius. Not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. That's a good question. Laura says, sorry, I'm still here. I just had to do something for my dad. He's 86 and lives with me, and sometimes he can be pretty demanding. You know, Laura, you do not have to apologize. You are allowed to have children of any age in your home. Sometimes, you know, husbands are children. Sometimes parents are children. Sometimes children are children. Sometimes pets are children. You are allowed to have children of any age. So he's allowed to be demanding. Charlotte says, can convert, Janet. There you go. Janet says, most tornadoes are in the outback in the outback very unusual to be in built up orders. Yeah, I can. Yeah, so a lot of the tornadic activity here in the States. There are certain areas that it's common to have tornadoes, and then there's a lot of areas where it's not. And then the areas where it is common, it's because of the landscape that makes it more frequent and more likely to happen. So it's definitely different, you know, when you hear of tornadoes where I'm at now than where I was in Alabama. Tornadoes in Alabama, that happens regularly. It's kind of, we have a tornado season. Here in Wyoming, we don't have a tornado season. Not an official one. I mean, if we have a tornado season, I have not heard of it yet. I am still learning. Let's see. Okay, yeah. I've already read that. I am looking forward to our warm weather. They just opened our pool at our complex. And having, 70-something degree weather today. I'm kind of looking forward to the warm weather for a little bit. It's been a little too cold for a little too long. I'm just ready. But then I'll enjoy the cold when it comes. There you go, Mona. Mona is here. 10 degrees Celsius is 50 degrees. Okay, so it only gets down to 50 degrees in the winter in Australia, where she's at in Australia. Okay, that works. Tornadoes need flat land. You would think that they do. I have seen tornadoes that they form coming off of the edge of a mountain, so to speak. Tornado season is year-round in Alabama. Yeah, I think it is. I think so. But they're more common in certain parts of the year than they are in others. April through October is kind of the deal. Gulf Coast, 50 degrees is cold. Yeah. Yeah, 50 degrees on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and Louisiana and Alabama and Florida, all of that. You hit 50 degrees and they are bundled up, freezing, wearing hoodies, and pulling out their winter coats. I did not buy my winter coat in the South. I know better than to buy a winter coat in the Southeast. You don't buy a winter coat there because they don't know what a winter coat really is. You get a play at a winter coat. Does not snow in Western Australia, but does on the East Coast in the mountains. Yeah, the elevation will contribute to the drop temperature and the more likely that it's going to snow. What I found here where I am, the city is down in the valley or at the base of the mountain. If you want to consider it the base of the mountain, it's kind of a little bit of a valley, but it's not, there's no significant mountains to the north of where we are. We're north of the mountain. So the mountain is south. And if you go up on the mountain, it is 10 to 20 degrees colder on the mountain than it is down on the rest of this, in the city. So even though it snows here in the city and then, it will snow and melt here, up on the mountain, it snows and stays. It doesn't always snow and stay, but it's more likely to snow and stay. Sweater weather for me. Well, it got up to 73 or 75 on the patio today. I don't remember which. My studio is still a little warm for me. I've got the fan on, but it's only doing so much. It's just moving the air around. It's 66 outside right now on my patio. I don't know what the rest of the city is, but it's 66. Actually, the rest of the city, according to my computer, is 64. So it's a little bit colder everywhere but my patio. And that's okay. I don't mind my patio being a little bit warmer. I am just plowing through these, you guys. Charlotte says menopause ain't my friend. I don't think menopause is anyone's friend. at all. I mean, it gets us to that next stage in life, but getting through it is challenging. Now, this is another random thought. In summer, we get up to 110 Fahrenheit. Oh no, nope. You can have that, Janet. I'm good. And Charlotte says, "Holy crow, Janet." No. You can have the 110. I'm not gonna do it. Laura says 50 for me is really cold, but I live in Arizona. That's true. Yeah, 50 for you is, if you're not in the mountains in Arizona, then 50 is probably your cold. Now, I will go, if I've got a pair of boots that are lined, they're Ugg boots, and I bought them. I tend to keep a pair of Uggs because for my sensory issues, they tend to be the most reliable boots I've owned. Oh, goodness. Okay. Nope, that can wait. All right. So I pull out my Ugg boots if it is going to be 60 degrees and below the entire day. If it is going to be above 60 degrees, I cannot wear those boots. Now, that's in the south. Moving up here, I kind of have to adjust that a little bit. If it's going to be below 60 all day, then I can wear the boots. If not, then I have to choose other footwear because those Ugg boots, especially with like thick socks, is just too hot. Let's see. Mona agrees. Too hot for me. Yeah. way too hot. Now, I will say I am enjoying the fact that it's warming up here because I do want to get out and I want to wear shorts and I want to, get outside and enjoy some sunlight, because even though you can get sunlight during the winter, it is not the same as summer sunlight. It is just not the same. And so I really do want to get out and enjoy the daylight and enjoy the warmth. When I was in the southeast, I hated the heat, but now that I'm here, I am enjoying getting some warmth because now I can appreciate it in a different light, if that makes sense. The heat is bearable, not as bad as you think. Yeah, I mean, I'm still good. I'm still good. You guys can have it. Charlotte says, I'm happiest at 80. I am not. That is yearly. Nearly everyone has a pool and people live near the beach. Yeah, I don't. I'm not. Even when I lived on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and when I've lived close to the beach, the heat was still too much for me. So I had to wait until the sun went down to be able to handle being outside. I had to do everything I needed to do outside, had to be done before sunrise or just within that first hour after sunrise. Or I had to be done. Yep, I ran out of bobbin. I could hear it. That bobbin didn't have a lot on it. But I can hear when my machine runs out. This machine has no sensor. Ricky has no sensors. Ricky is as close to a mechanical machine other than my long arm that I have. But I love the metal bobbin and the bobbin case and all of that because I can hear. I can tell. Laura says I can handle the heat but not the humidity. There is the other key. The heat would be one thing, but the humidity was what killed me basically. Let's see. Time for bed here. Have a good night and / day. Arlie, thank you so much for coming to hang out. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. So thank you. And I'll be back next Sunday too. So have a good evening. Let's see. And Mitzi says it's time for her to go too. Take care, everyone. Bye, Mitzi. Glad you were here. Thank you for hanging out for as long as you did. I appreciate it. All right, we're going to set that back down, and we're just going to get through this stack, and then I'll call it quits. So it's not going to be that much longer. I love Vegas dry heat. Easier for me 20 years ago. Yeah, See, I had a friend that just went to Vegas, and I do not know if I could have handled the sudden shift to the heat of Vegas. Um, I thought about it because I was like, oh, that would be kind of a cool trip to take. But I do not know if I could have handled the heat. And it has been a little over a year since I've done any serious traveling. So me traveling now would be more challenging, and it would come with a lot of like questions about what I could handle. um, so, I love to travel, you guys. I really do. I just don't know what I can handle now. Charlotte saying night to Arlie and Mitzi. Absolutely. Let's see. We still got a good crowd here, though, you guys. What? Good crowd. But so, if you could travel to anywhere, if you were in the chat and you can travel to anywhere, where would you travel to? What is your dream destination? You have money and time off from work, and you can take whatever person that is in your head that you're thinking you want to take. If you could go anywhere, where would you go? Janet says, sorry, I have to go. Have shopping to do, and great night, everyone. Absolutely, Janet. Thank you for hanging out. And yeah, she says, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Thank you, Janet. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, don't forget to give a thumbs up to the chat, or thumbs up to the video. That helps YouTube know that you guys enjoyed being here. Jean says she would go to the UK. Is there a specific reason that you want to go to the UK? Is there something there that you want to visit? Or is it just someplace you've always wanted to go? What's the driving force for the UK? I know if I went to the UK, I would totally be going there to go be where I could see the royal family. I would love to hear William and Kate say something to me. Don says he would go to Greece. Oh, that would be exciting, Don. Why would you like to go to Greece? Charlotte says travel is a pain in the ass for me now. Pardon my language. I should not have read that out loud to YouTube. Travel is a pain for me now. Yeah, Charlotte, I am with you in that boat as well. Janet says I go to the UK every year. That is exciting. I wish I could travel like that. Laura says I'd love to go to Scotland. I would love Scotland as well. I am both. My dad's heritage is Scottish and Irish, and I have always kind of had an inkling to go visit Scotland. I would love to go on a quilting trip to Scotland. That would be fantastic. I don't know how service dog law would work for that. That's like a whole nother ballpark. But oh my gosh, I think mine would probably be Scotland. Jean says that's where my family came from. Oh, that's exciting, Jean. That you would be able to go and the nice thing about the UK, my stepkids visited the UK all the time. That's where, not my current stepkids, previous stepkids, they visited the UK all the time because that's where their mom lives, and they would come back and tell us about all these places that have been there for eons of whatever time. I don't know how long they've been there, but if your ancestors are from there, there's probably places there that are still there related to where you grew, where your family is from, which is so exciting. Janet says my daughter lives there on the Isle of Wight. Awesome. That's kind of cool that you get to go visit her for that. And that's definitely a long trip, though, from Australia. Teresa is here as well. Welcome, Teresa. Glad you joined the chat. Let's see. I'd go on a world trip of ancient monuments, says Charlotte. Oh, that's exciting. I don't know if I would be disenfranchised from seeing all the monuments. I don't know if that would be my problem, or... I kind of would want to go to India to go see the Taj Mahal, but I don't know that I could handle hanging out in India for very long. I don't know if I can handle it. Teresa says Scotland is where Harry Potter was filmed. Oh, that's cool. I did not know that. I learned something new tonight. I love the Harry Potter movies. I will watch them. I don't go looking for them, but if they're on TV, I don't turn it off. Like I won't just like leave it on. I will leave it on and watch it if Harry Potter's on. I don't have the movies. I don't own the copies. But it's something that I will absolutely sit and watch. I don't think I've watched them all in order. That's the one thing I don't think I've done. I've done that with Hunger Games. I've watched Hunger Games in order. But I don't think I've watched all the Harry Potters in order. I guess that's what I need to do next. Laura says my family heritage is Scottish and English mostly, and some German. Now, I kind of would like to go to Germany. My parents were stationed in Germany when my dad was in the army. Sorry about that, guys. My throat was dry. Mona says night. Good night, Mona. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. Let's see. I'm an ancient history buff. Nepal would be cool. Ooh, Nepal would be cool. The books are much better, says Jean. I don't probably disagree. Books are usually much better than the movies. My brain thinks differently a lot of times. So if I'm listening to a book on tape, if I get interrupted, or my brain gets interrupted, or I have to turn the volume down, I forget to rewind to go back, and I don't really have the mental capacity now to be able to sit and read that much in a book. If I read, and that's kind of one of my challenges, one of my disabilities. If I read, let's say, 10 pages of a book and had to quit for the night for whatever reason, or quit for, I was done, hanging out for a little bit, and I went to go pick the book back up, I would completely have forgotten everything I just read. And I frequently had to reread paragraphs because I forgot what I read one paragraph ago. It's a memory fog issue. Jana says she's been to Japan, New Zealand, Netherlands, Singapore, and Bali a lot. And that's not getting your shopping done. No, it is not. But those are exciting places. When I met my best friend the other day, when I was coming back when I was in Salt Lake City, her and her husband had been stationed in South Korea during COVID. And so she actually brought things back from South Korea. And so I got to hang out and chat with her a little bit about that, because that's definitely an experience I've not had. I read all the books in a month and a half. I wish I could. Teresa, I really wish I could. My biggest problem is just that I forget what I read. Now, if I read, my husband is a Kiwi. Okay, that makes sense. I know what that is. Believe it or not, I know what that is. But if I read a paragraph, I may or may not remember what I just read. Now, like, if I read a news story, I can handle a news story. A news story is not long enough that I lose my train of thought. We are going to pair these random ones up, I think. That one's random. Let me get these that are still kind of already paired up. We're going to go with that first. I can read like a news story and not lose my train of thought, but when you start going 3 or 4 pages deep, then, like, let's say I'm reading a story, and on page 1, the main character says something to somebody, and on page 10, the character is saying, "Do you not remember what I just told you? Back when we were talking about X, Y, and Z." And I will literally have to refer back to the page 1 of whatever the character said to remember it myself. Like, I cannot do the comprehension that I used to have. And part of that is misuse, that I have not attempted to challenge myself for that. So that's partly my fault. But part of it is my my challenges with my disabilities, because if I am not 100% comfortable the entire time, cool, in the right temperature, right food level, I mean, like, if everything else is not 100% perfect and I'm not holding my tongue to the left side of my mouth and got my right foot toes, crossed, if everything is not 100% perfect, then I really struggle to remember details like that. So again, when I try to remember everybody's name in the chat, the reason that I try to do that, it is one of the few memory game kind of things that I can do that doesn't tend to be more of a struggle. It tends to be comes to me a little bit easier. Jana says, my daughter is like that. She reads a chapter, then forgets what she has read, and the end is because she has dyslexia and it affects her short-term memory. I sympathize. I do not have dyslexia, or if I do, I've not been diagnosed. I did not have cognitive issues until I experienced a back injury, and from the back injury, all of my disabilities have progressed. And one of the challenges that I experience with fibromyalgia is brain fog. And the more severe reactions that I have, the more challenging it is to remember details. So I can read, like, the most reading that I do now, other than the chat, where I can remember things in the chat because I'm repeating them back. And, I might not remember the exact details or who said something, but I'll remember, the topics that we talked about and all of that. But, like, I can try to read a medication label because I'm on medications, but I can try to read a medication label or the warning sheets, the little pamphlets or whatever that they give you for your medications. And I can remember, like, what side effects I might have. I can remember that list, and I can remember the small little details, but it may take me 4 times of rereading the same section to understand what I just read. So once I understand it, I can remember it, and I may not remember where I saw it, when I saw it, what medication that was for. I may not remember those kinds of details, but to be able to understand what I just read is where my problems are right now. Let's see. My short-term memory has gotten worse over the years. Yeah, and if you don't do things to challenge your brain, then that is going to be a continuous problem. Mine is both my age. Because I am aging. Everybody does, every day, every second, every minute. But it's not just because I'm aging, but it is also because of the medical issues. Let's see. Jana says there are lots of types of dyslexia. She can read and spell, not a problem. Yeah, there are. I did not have this problem when I was in high school, college, I mean grade school. I never had a problem in school, and I never had a problem until after my injury and my disabilities, and I started having more autoimmune triggers come up. So the more my autoimmune system has been triggered, and some of the medications I was on contributed to it as well. But so some of the things that I've had happen, both medically and non-medically, have caused that memory problem and the cognitive function problems. So, like, I was being asked, we were talking about my hearing earlier. I know Mitzi was asking. So I don't know how my hearing went. I won't know for about a month. But at my hearing, I was being asked, do you have any more information? I said, well, I do, but there's no diagnosis of it in the charts. But if there is, it would be before this date. Like, it would be before, this year, kind of like date range. It'd be like pre-2019, whatever, it would be in those kinds of records. But I did go to the ER for this condition, and he's looking back through the records, and he's like, well, it says here that you were here for this, for symptoms of this condition, but do you have a diagnosis? So no, nobody's ever diagnosed me, because you have to have the symptoms when you are present at a doctor who will diagnose you. You can't just have the symptoms and describe them and get a diagnosis, apparently. So I have no diagnosis. Janet says, let's see, there we go. I have medical issues that have made it worse for me. Yes, you do, Laura. You've had a lot on your plate. And yeah, the more medical challenges you throw at your body, the more your body will respond, and your brain's function is part of that. So part of the reason I love quilting and love pattern planning is that it gives me a way that I can cognitively think through problems and think through issues, and it doesn't put me in a situation where it's not something I can't fix. Anything that I do with fabric, needle, and thread, other than cutting it, anything I do with fabric, needle, and thread, I can undo. So, it gives me that chance to do that. Janet says, I have dyslexia. It is due to being left-handed, so I had to teach my brain to look left to start writing and to start reading. Now I'm older, it isn't a problem. Yeah, the more you practice something like that, the easier it does become. I can totally understand that. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. One of my friends, when I lived in Alabama, her daughter has dyslexia, and I learned a lot about the ways that they were teaching her to read that would overcome her dyslexia, because her dyslexia was a spelling and reading issue. That was where her dyslexia was. And they had special tools at that school that she went to teach her how to overcome those problems. Alright, that does not match up with anything, and I don't know why. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do the blacks and the grays together, and that will be the end of this stack. And all of these will be sewn. So all I would have to do now, next Sunday, if I haven't touched this before then, which I don't know that I will, if I haven't touched this before then, we will pull these out and we will be pressing the seams open. So I'll have my iron out. So you guys get to watch me press. It is a right-handed world. Yes, it is. It is definitely a right-handed world. I am ambidextrous. I can write with both hands. However, I did not learn to write with both hands. I taught myself because I am equally capable in both hands. So my writing with my left hand is not very strong because I don't bother trying to practice it because it is a right-handed world. If I had a left-handed rotary cutter, I could totally use it just the same as a right-handed one. Pat is here. She says, hello, everyone. I'm very late. I was asleep. No worries, Pat. No worries. You are not late. There's always replay. And we are just hanging out and getting some stuff sewn for a scrap quilt. So welcome in. Welcome into the chat. So yeah, I am ambidextrous. I can do things equally with right and left hands. There are some things that I am dominant right-handed and some things I am dominant left-handed. Writing is dominant right-handed because at the time that I was in school, where I was going to school, they wanted you to learn right-handed. It did not matter if you were left-handed, you learned right-handed. I was predominantly right-handed, so that was easy. But they didn't want anybody to learn left-handed unless they were predominantly left-handed. But I did teach myself to write with my left hand. I was always worried that I was going to break my right hand and I'd have to learn to write with my left. So I used that as my my reasoning for learning to write with my left hand when I was in junior high and high school. Charlotte says, I tend to take a Buddhist approach to life as I age. Life is suffering. No matter how small the issue, it is a challenge for everyone. Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, like, everybody faces one kind of challenge or another. Some of us face physical disabilities. Some of us face mental challenges. Some of us face just the mountain of experiences that we've had in our lives. You know, everybody's got their own challenges to go through, and I feel like we all learn from each other. So the more experiences we have, you know, we can build our own understanding of the world and our own compassion towards everyone by just, you know, listening and getting to know everyone, getting to know each other. So I will be sewing on Ricky again Tuesday night. I will try to have everything ready, or we will be pressing things on Tuesday night. We're going to work on Sparkle. I'm not going to put Sparkle away and leave it, put away. I will keep it out. Should never force people to write either way. Not good. No, it isn't. It isn't. I agree with you, Janet. But a lot of the school of thought as to why to get left-handed people to write with their right hand, my understanding of the reasoning behind that is the majority of the world and the majority of the tools that are produced, the majority of the population is right-handed, and it is sometimes more difficult for a left-handed person to learn to write where it is legible and pretty the way that a right-handed person would write. So all the left-handed people that were at my school, they did have some left-handed people that, you know, refused to write with their left. Like their parents, you know, forced the school to do left-handed, you know, writing. But the left-handed people had to learn how to write to make it look like they were right-handed. So their writing was just more challenged than everyone else's. Let's see. And I refuse to give up regardless of how difficult it has become. Yeah, I refuse to give up too. I mean, I'm fighting for a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff going on that I'm fighting through. And I'm not going to give up. I mean, it's not an option to give up. It's not even on the plate. It's not an option. But I don't know. It's just one of those things. Just one of those things. This machine always stitches so beautifully, you guys. I love this machine. It's been a couple weeks. I was supposed to be stitching on it. I would have been stitching on it last Wednesday if I wasn't in Salt Lake City. And before that, it was 2 weeks before that since I last sewed on her. Sewed on Ricky, I think. Maybe? Yeah, I think it's been that long. It's been a while since I've sewn on her because of the where my projects are. I haven't had a chance to sew on Ricky. So I'm enjoying, very much enjoying sewing on her. She's a gorgeous little machine. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I need to clean up her machine bed a little bit. I think I've got some Goo Gone or something. It's, I put some diagonal seam tape down, and for some reason, this machine did not like the adhesive. So I've got a little bit of yellow discoloring on my machine. Laura says, I try to appreciate the good days and focus more on what I can do than what I can't do. That's all you can do. That is all you can. Jana says, I've found here in Australia, left-handers have better writing than the right-handed ones. There you go. It is definitely cultural here in the United States. Stop, Janet. I need to go get my shopping done. Okay, Janet, you are in timeout. You have got to go get your shopping done. So you need to set a timer that, you know, you're going to come back and watch the last 15 minutes once you get your shopping done. I'm only going to be on for another 15 minutes, if that. We're just going to finish up this small little stack and then we're done. So it's not that much longer, I promise. I like to send my husband to do all the shopping because then it's less stress for me. Oh, but Janet, you're so funny. So funny. I have got to I do finances at the beginning of the month, and today is day 2. So I'm a little behind the times getting my finances done, so I've got to get them done in the morning. That will be my primary objective tomorrow morning is finances. Finances are always so depressing to me, you know? It's just one of those things. Charlotte says, things take me longer to accomplish now, but that's okay. Laura says, do what you can as you can. Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, if you can't physically do something, then you can't physically do something. Whether that's because you can't physically do it today, but you can do it tomorrow, or whether it's because you can't physically do it because you can't physically do it. There's only so much that your body can take. And knowing that limit is sometimes really hard. It's really hard. And it's hard to accept because, you know, we grow up learning to push ourselves, to be better, to do better, to achieve and to strive for the goal. And here we are not being able to because our bodies don't let us, among other things. So I totally get it. Alright, so that's the last of the black and gray. Let me see which one I want to do. Let's do this one. I've got one spare gray, like that gray. I've got a bigger one, but I don't want to combine the two same fabrics. So we're going to choose the prettiest side, and we're going to combine it with a black. And they're not the same size. I didn't expect them to be. So we're going to get whatever we get out of this. This is not going to be the same size as everything else, but you know, they're all going to trim to the same sizes, so we'll have a lot of trimming to do, but I'm not worried. Alright, we're going to put our needle up. Let's see. Why is it... Oh, my thread is wrapped around the back. Okay. Alright, Ricky, we're going to turn you off. You're done for the day. Alright. And if you guys... I don't know if you guys can tell. Okay, maybe it's already gone off. Nope, they're not all gone off. The LEDs on this machine, if you can see the little reflection right here, they go off very slowly on this machine. They don't just flip off when I flip everything off. It takes a little bit. So we are just going to trim these out. I'll swap you guys over so you're not sitting there looking at just my hands in the way. There we go. Hi you guys, welcome back. So all I'm going to do is we're just going to trim these apart. So I'll have a stack of half square triangles that we can press open and then start figuring out trimming sizes and go through days and days of trimming and then putting it together. Accepting limits is a peculiar U.S. problem, as is working within them. Yes. A peculiar U.S. problem. Yeah, it is. It is, I don't think we're ever taught growing up, and this could just be my upbringing, but I was not taught that it was okay to have limitations. I was taught that if you feel like you can do something, you can do it. And that's positive, but there's that negative side effect of that when you get to the point where you cannot do something, it is all the more poignant of a mental challenge, because not only have you always been told you can do whatever you want to do, but now you're facing the physically you can't do whatever you want to do, and you've got to learn to accept that. And that is not something that I was ever taught how to do. So learning to accept that I have physical limitations was the biggest one of the challenges that I faced, is being okay, having a physical limitation and being okay with having that limitation and not being down on myself because of it. And that's kind of something that I, working on teaching some friends of mine, is just they've got some limitations that they did not have growing up, and they're thinking that it makes them less of who they are, or, makes them something different. But it doesn't make them any different. It just makes them, they've got to figure out what their adaptation is going to be. And that is the biggest challenge, is learning that an adaptation is okay. You don't have to be physically able to do everything. You don't have to be mentally able to do everything. You don't have to be socially able to do everything. You just have to take that time and be okay with who you are. I've had to learn limitations. If I overdo it, I can take days to recover. Yeah, I can. And that's one of the first things that I learned was, so let's say today I woke up feeling really great, and I went and cleaned the entire apartment from top to bottom. It is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. So I could clean the entire apartment from top to bottom, but I would not be functional for the next 4 days. I would be on such low energy that I could not do everything else that is on my calendar that I'm doing because other people expect me to do it, or because I've made promises to other people. Like, none of that would happen because I physically couldn't do it. So if I want to clean the apartment, I have to choose one task that I can complete, and that's what I focus on. I do the one task, that is what I do, and then, maybe in a few hours, if I feel like I'm okay, I might start part of another task. And then I might work on that task tomorrow instead of finishing it out today, because that's what I know that my body will allow me to do. So yeah, it's challenging. Charlotte says, I agree, we're a super fast society that insists on fast. Yes, we are. We have fast food. Really, if you go to a fast food restaurant and it takes more than 15 minutes to get your food, you are sitting in that line waiting, not patiently. You are frustrated and aggravated because you expected fast food to be your definition of fast. Now, 15 minutes may be fast, depending on what they're fixing. They could be fixing something that was completely frozen 5 seconds ago. But because we are in that line with this expectation that something is going to be fast, we are expecting that is always going to be the case. And that's kind of what our society has fed us as a whole, that if you are able to do something fast, you're doing it better. Charlotte says, I am no longer fast. I focus on steady. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. This project has been sitting since I finished the quilt top. And, this part went fast, but the next parts won't. The next parts will take a while. But I am not in a hurry to finish this. This is not I have to get this done on a specific timeline. This is just I'm not going to waste this fabric. This is a lot of fabric. This is a lot of waste if I didn't use it. And it's all already put together as far as all in one kit because I kept it that way. But yeah, it is what it is. You have to accept where you're at and what you can do. All right, so all of these are done. So I have 2 big piles of half square triangles. So some of them are going to trim down one way and some of them are going to trim down the other. But what we will do is we will start pressing these probably next week if I don't get to them before then. But again, I don't think I will. Or I might pull out something else. It just depends on what I feel like doing. Sundays are going to be a what do I feel like doing day. And that's what I kind of wanted with this After Sunset series. I just want it to be, come hang out, let's get some time in together, let's, share some love, just have fun with quilting. And don't focus so much on what has to be done. or what you want to be done. Just focus on the process and touching fabric. Because touching fabric is everything, right? Touching fabric is everything. Let's see. Quilts take time. It's not a race. Nope. Well, there are some that are. This is not it. So we are all packed up. It is completely stuffed full, you guys. I mean, you guys can see from the bottom. All the half square triangles just shoved in there. So, some of them are going to be wrinkled, but I'm not worried about it. They're little ones. The little ones aren't going to be that bad to fix. So, I am going to go ahead and get off of here. Pat says I'm very aware of my limitations, but if something needs doing, I give it my best shot. Hubby is a big help. It took me 3 days to recover from a couple of days of spring cleaning. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm right in that boat with you. If I did all the spring cleaning that I want to do, I would not be functional again till July. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it that way. That's not what works. So yeah, we're not going to do that. So again, Tuesday night, we're going to be live at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, not 5. So it's an hour later. We're going to start doing that from here on out. If you have not submitted your show and tell, go submit your show and tell. If you don't want to submit it on Facebook, if you don't have the group already, whatever, however, you can always email me too. If you are in the replay and you don't see the comments, and you can't get a hold of anything, go ahead and just put me a comment. I will get back to you. I answer all of my comments. But get into that show and tell. Share what you're working on. Share what you've completed. Wherever you're at with it, just share, because the quilting community doesn't grow unless the quilting community gets inspiration to grow, and inspiration comes from sharing. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will see you guys Tuesday night, and then we will do again Saturday morning and Sunday night this upcoming week as well. And I look forward to hanging out with all of you again. Thanks. Y'all have a good one.